Okay, tell me whatever you can about Angel, just off the top of the head. Here's the spot, and here's you.
He's tall.
Isn't he just a little bit tall?
He's really tall. David Boreanaz is really cute.
You know, I'm a straight man, but he's pretty sexy.
He is.
Yeah.
But you know, honestly, Angel as a character is kind of one of those. The first time I saw him in Buffy, I thought, where are they going to go with him? Because I thought, well, that's kind of a typical character, the vampire that needs redemption. But I think, especially in his own series, that kind of went somewhere else entirely, and it did really surprising things. But I think, especially the fact that he's a character who really wasn't a particularly stellar human being. You know, he wasn't a bad guy, but he wasn't really all that great.
Kind of a loser in some ways.
Yeah, and he became a vampire, and then he became notorious for being really awful. And then he gets his soul back, and what he really is struggling with is, I don't think he's just struggling with redeeming himself for vampirism. I think he's kind of redeeming a little bit of the humanity he kind of wasted and didn't really use.
Yeah.
So that's off the top of my head, that's Angel.
There we go. I'm not sure about the issue. I'm pretty sure that Spike recently referenced how he was a decent human and Angel wasn't.
Yeah, he did. I think it was either 37 or it was 37.
37, yeah.
He makes a crack about that. He does say.
Yeah, that's never been referenced in the actual context of the show, and I thought that was awesome because I've been waiting for it since Spike's flashback in Full of Love.
Yes.
No, in Full for Love, yeah.
Well, I felt like it was a really important thing because they have a particular dynamic, and although they both have souls now and you have a very particular sort of arc for both of them, I think it's good for Spike to sometimes point out that he was a truly decent person, and while Angel certainly didn't deserve to be turned into a vampire, he had some issues, and he's not perfect either, and although he may be a chosen one, that does not mean that he isn't still extremely fallible.
I love how 37 addresses how far Illyria and Spike have come.
Yes.
Because I saw people commenting, oh, Illyria would never say please, and I was like, did you read any of After the Fall? I mean, yeah, she would.
Well, I think that their relationship is something that is really unique in the Angelverse. And I think especially for Illyria, she doesn't have that dynamic with anybody else.
She doesn't.
And I think that there is, whether she knows it or not, she cares about Spike in a very particular kind of way because of the things that happened After the Fall. And I felt like because there's been a lot of distance between a lot of the characters, we really needed to have a moment that simply and effectively reestablished that.
I thought it was effective, yeah.
Yeah, and show it really in a way that I know some people have trouble with it, and I appreciate that. Sometimes it's really hard to see characters do things that you're just really not expecting them to do.
Of course, yeah.
And feel don't fit. But I really feel like the way that character has progressed and the way that particular relationship was set up, that I think she would, instead of just hitting him, I really think at this point it's a lot more likely that she'd go, let's calm down.
I'd agree, because after they came back to the alley, Spike cracked a joke and she recognized it as a joke.
Yes.
And before that, she wouldn't have.
Yes, exactly.
And she's come far as a person.
Yes, she has.
Thing-ish kind of thing.
Alien dude,
Yeah.
It's true.
So, what can you tell us about your final arc on Angel?
Well, you know, it's real that we just did an interview about that makes it seem really, really complicated, but it's not. What we really have is we're going to have two, I would hesitate to say separate, but they're parallel arcs. Angel is going to be a major, major focus of this, obviously, because this is...
As he should be.
As he should be. And he is going to come directly in contact with Wolfram and Clark in the first issue of the arc. And people are going to see the different dynamic that's going on there. Wolfram and Hart is not exactly the bad guys as it starts off. And there are a lot of complicated things going on there. One of the things that we have sort of revealed is that Angel is not in the same LA that we are currently used to.
Does that tie into the Buffy, him not being in LA?
It may.
Okay.
You know, there's definitely going to be some Easter eggs about that, and we definitely make sure that this story is ours.
Good.
But there will be little things that fans can pick up on that they'll see are hints towards that stuff. But we did not write this story to be just to follow through with that. No, you know, it was really important to us that the fans of Angel and of the IDW books really get a complete story out of this.
Absolutely.
And so that it's not just facilitating something else. And we want to make sure that there is still that stuff that's there, but it's not going to be just like, oh, and then here you go, and then right into what's going on with Twilight. But there are definitely some little Easter eggs.
Okay.
But I think the main thing about the story is that there's going to be a lot of parallel between Angel and Connor, because I really do feel that dynamic is the most important in the series. Connor is Angel's son, and if he's not important to him, then something has gone horribly wrong.
I agree.
And I think the way we really structured this story is that Angel is really going to be doing his best to get back to his son, and Connor is not going to know for a while that Angel's kind of in a different situation than they're expecting, and there's going to be a lot of things that kind of show us who Angel heart are not ever what they seem to be.
Not so much, no.
No. But that I really do feel that Wolfram and Hart are kind of necessary to the Angel story. I think that
I say so.
the challenge that they present to him as a character is one of the most important and one of the most interesting that I've ever seen in fiction, really. I mean, the fact that he joined them for a while thinking he could subvert the system, it didn't really work out, I think is a really fascinating way to have taken the story.
And I love how much the book is dealing with Angel and Connor, because the whole time I'm reading the Buffy book, all I can think of is, but where's Connor, you know?
He's such an important character. I mean, he's his son, and I think that the Angel show made it very clear how important that is to Angel.
Yeah.
And that, I think especially as Connor is shifting, you know, he's not who he was. I do think there's some fans who still think of him as he was in season 4, and that's not the character, and he hasn't been that character in a really long time.
No.
And I do think
5 and after the fall, he's come so far.
Yeah,
you know?
he's very different. And as what he is, I think, has always been kind of an interesting question. I mean,
and you're playing that a little bit now, aren't you?
Yes, we are, because you know he's the son of 2 vampires, which is impossible.
Yeah.
He has all this strength. He's clearly not invulnerable, but he's pretty.
He is. And how many times would you say he was stabbed last issue?
A lot.
Like maybe 80 times.
Yeah, he was stabbed a lot.
So he gets stabbed and then he gets really glowy.
Yes, he did.
So,
and then
if I was stabbed, I wouldn't be that glowy.
No.
So
I would not. I think I would just leak a whole lot all over the place. We thought it was a kind of time to show that Angel, well, a certain kind of special, his son is going to obviously have to be something a little out of the ordinary too, and that is going to factor into the last storyline a lot.